Well, it's absolutely freezing cold at the moment. It's so-called 9 degrees, feels like yeah, probably 8. So we'll probably have actually reached the magic 8 degrees overnight, but even though they're only predicting 9. But this one sort of settling in, sort of thing. Let's get a spot going. Liverwort seems to be okay. Everything else seems to be okay. It'll be interesting to see if we get any. Oh, and again, another cutting I put in there seems to be unaffected, really. This cutting here, got totally covered with sand due to the rain. Still not sure about that liverwort, if it's struggling or not. So, close. So the liverwort might be a key indicator plant. Yeah, so we'll have to see. I know at the moment it looks a little bit dry. Maybe that's because we got some biological activity in there due to the egg. Things are, you know, burning through there at the moment and chomping away, and the microbes are making use of the egg at the moment. Maybe that's why. Otherwise, I may have to hand water it or spray it, which I don't want to really do. Hopefully, with the season coming, I won't have to do that. It'll just get rained on every few days, sort of thing, and everything will be tickety-boo, sort of thing. Still no signs of any germination yet of anything. So, I mean, once we get a strike or a mass germination or something like that, the game's over, fellas, because it's not peat and it's got copper in it. So, you know. But the next stage, what we're trying to do today is, having said that, with our discovery of why they think it suddenly got wetter when we added more sand, and the fact that the fine sand grains of the quartzite sand seems to stick around the outside of the perlite granules, the idea is we probably want to go to a mixture of 1 part of sand to 1 part of fine perlite, and therefore 1 part of sand to fine polystyrene would make a good mixture. But to that mixture, I probably want to add some newspaper cellulose, mainly because cellulose is a sugar source in a way, because of all the glucose moieties in the cellulose molecules. And we know that penicillium likes to attack things like that. You know, that's why it grows on bread. That's why it grows on jam jars and things like that. So the idea today is to try and take that mixture of, you know, 1 part of sand to 1 part of fine polystyrene, 1 part of fine sand to 1 part of fine perlite, and add in some cellulose. But I'm wanting to work out whether 1 part of fine sand mixes with 1 part of expanded newspaper cellulose, which is this catalyst sort of thing. So the idea is to take our bowl here first of all, and we're going to swirl some up. So we know from experience that 2 handfuls will make 600 mils. I'm going to put in 3, because you want to make sure I want to go to a scale of 700 mils. So it would be 1 part of newspaper cellulose here and 1 part of fine sand, and we'll see how that looks. And then to that, if it works, we'll add our 1 part of fine sand and 1 part of perlite. In other words, the organism can actually grow in the perlite. And also then we'll add the 1 part of fine sand, 1 part of polystyrene, the polystyrene being there to generate the reductive flammable gas so the organism can grow, and the cellulose is there for the penicillium to grow. And of course we need the copper there because they need the copper to grow, so they need like a sugar source, and they need the copper to run their biology. And then following on from the penicillium, we get the Genericum australis, which follows the penicillium, and that's the ensheathing organism that can ensheathe the roots, the red roots. So the organism can go into the roots and it can be ensheathed, and that's the idea of the biology. So the question is, do we want to mix it throughout the medium, or do we want to take the story of the double flush And, you know, do we want to take the story of the double flush and just put this on the surface of our 2 parts sand, 1 part fine polystyrene, 1 part of fine perlite, and just let the penicillium do its work on the surface of the soil, and as the rain goes through you, or your water at the top of your pot, any breakdown products that drive the penicillium goes down to the pot, or is it the other way around? The penicillium will just sit in here, and it's the breakdown products from here that drive the Generica australis. But we're going to have to do some experimentation to be able to find that out. So that's, I'm just going to get some hot water now. We've still got time on the clip. It'll take a minute or so for the jug to re-warm up. I've already pre-primed it, sort of thing. And yeah, sorry, I was out of shot. But with 1 minute or so on the coal, but just have enough time to add the hot water to this one and go from there. Okay, fellas. Yeah, what do you think of the new jug? I think it's fantastic. So, we're just going to pour this in. We'll see how we go. You can always drain it off the excess. So it may be better to actually put the whole thing. Yeah, it's a borax, one of these borosilicate things. No, you don't have to worry about it. Even on a cold day, it's not going to break. So that's why I like them. A little bit pricey, but